The switch up on this unit has been crazy. Hey guys, Marsingin here, bring you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so I wanted to make a video talking about this today because I hadn't really been paying a huge amount to the feedback from the community from this character. I assumed that like when we got the EZA details and I made the breakdown video, everybody was super excited, everybody thought this EZA was really good, and now I'm seeing a lot of memes and a lot of like pushback from people about this unit apparently not being so good or not being as good as people thought, and to be honest I'm not really sure where that came from. I obviously did the showcase for this guy. We did a stream where we tried them out in the Festival of Battles to try and take advantage of that 5% buff to the entire team that they give with their 18 key super, which is another thing I've already seen people talking about. Apparently people are claiming that this might actually even be bugged, and I think potentially that might just be because the effect isn't as great as some people thought that it would be. It's weird how the stat increases and stuff work in Dokkan with the multiplicative stats and everything, because apparently the way this buff works, for characters who are already stackers, it doesn't really give them that much extra in terms of stats, right? It's not something you will hugely notice. Whereas characters who don't stack and therefore often have large multiplicative buffs in their passive, then something like this is going to be more noticeable, because as they build up, you know, 10, 15, 20% extra throughout the course of an event as it goes on, that's then being stacked onto what they start with at the start of the turn. And then if they've got passives where they're getting like 200% on attack and stuff like that, that extra 20% is then becoming, you know, more like an extra 60%, and then it's something that's a little bit more noticeable. So very interesting. I really liked when these guys, like, we broke down their kit, the fact that they just have permanent guard now, so they don't rely on being in slot 1, and they get extra defense for 5 turns regardless of which slot they're in, right? So the big thing with these guys is, as the first attacker in the turn, they get 200% extra attack and defense and 30% extra damage reduction. But I guess turn 1 is awkward for them, but they build up extra defense from getting hit or dodging 3 times. The fact that they added the or dodging is pretty good. They already have a base 20% damage reduction. They have guard. Like, I've had situations, we were trying them out on stream this morning, because I really wanted to understand why people are sort of like the tide has turned, I guess you could say, on the opinion of this unit. For some people, obviously, this of course doesn't apply to everyone. I'm sure there are people out there who still think they are really good, and as is often the case with, like, especially with social media, especially for this game, it's the negative voices that are often the loudest. People reposting like memes and stuff. Like, it's not necessarily everybody in the community suddenly thinks this card is bad. But it was just interesting. I thought we would take them into the Rose and Zamasu event and just test them out a little bit and see how we get on. And I had rotations where, you know, they got locked in slot 2 or slot 3 and they were still perfectly fine, taking the AoE and all that kind of stuff. The big thing I know for these guys is, like, they do obviously need to build up that defense by getting hit or by dodging. Obviously they benefit from getting the 5% buff for themselves as well. They stack on their 18 key super. Like, straight away turn 1, my rainbow copy, if they eat a super in slot 1 from the int Rose, they were taking like 800k, which is a lot, but if you're on full health you also survive that, right? So they survived that super, then they did their supers, then they ate Tech Zamasu's super attack for basically nothing, and then everybody else on the rotation tanked all the normals for double digit damage. So we still survived the turn, and then we're able to heal up with same type orbs and everything on the next turn. So I think people will see that like big damage number and think, oh, you know, that's really bad. But it's like turn 1, the first attack of the turn they take essentially, before they got any build up or anything like that, and they still survived, I think is still relatively good. So I wanted to have a look through, because I know Minato made a post, like, shout out to our boy, made a post about them the other day, and I know he made a video talking about them. So I wanted to take a look at his post here and just get an idea of what some people were saying. Obviously, check out Minato, one of my co-hosts for the Slot 1 Super podcast. Shout out to him. But like I say, I wanted to just check out some of the replies, because Vector's one of the people that I've seen posting memes about this unit now. Great for a mode I don't care about, because I guess we're talking about Festival. Pretty not great for the mode I do care about. I don't know which mode that is specifically, but I know he's been doing a lot of runs against Rose and Zamasu, so I'm assuming they mean that one, but they are still pretty good there from my experience. Super attack effect is funny. Not gonna lie, I'm mostly just amused by how saying literally anything about them gets even just posting a clip of them in what should be a good situation gets people fuming. I mean, this happens on Twitter with everything. Like, you can post a clip of a unit and it's supposed to be you showing that, like, they're actually doing okay in a slot that they shouldn't be in. Like, say, for example, like I say, I mean, that's not the right example because they would be in slot 1, but like, you could post a clip of them surviving that Rose Super for 800k just to say, like, hey, you know, this is the worst case scenario for them on turn 1 to get immediately supered as the first attack of the turn, and they still survived. And the responses to that will still be people saying, oh, they took like way too much damage or anything, right? So that just always happens. Yeah, true. Dokkan Twitter crying about nothing as usual. They accomplished exactly what their EZA is intended for, which I do kind of agree. Like, they go in slot 1. They're a good slot 1 option for a couple of these teams. They give you the ability to use the STR Vegeta part of the Goku and Vegeta card if you want to, because they now have a really good slot 1 unit to go with them. In fact, let's see. I know there's potentially a minefield here, but you don't see an issue with the way they intended them to be, and not the fact that, I don't know, they could have been made in a better way to be a functional unit, like the literal unit that EZA'd with them. I mean, like I said, they dominate the hardest fight in the game, make the fight significantly easier for players who don't want to do the event yet. All this from an EZA unit. There's literally no issue. I mean, they're talking about, I guess, talking about, like, I don't know if he's talking about Festival, though, which I know most people don't care about. How are we supposed to evaluate this unit considering Festival of Battles doesn't matter? That is very true. It is, I don't think, like, I think this unit is really good without caring about what, like, they do in Festival of Battles, right? So, like, here's a screenshot of them, insanely high defense, giving everyone else on the team crazy defense. I think this is the Shadow Dragon's Red Zone boss rush thing that we just got. So that's pretty good. They accomplished being borderline unusable in the hardest stage, which, I mean, again, if we're talking about Rose and Zamasu, I think saying borderline unusable is way over exaggeration. Like, turn 1 eating a super is bad, and then after that, pretty good, right? People in a slot 1 unit isn't as good outside of slot 1, yeah, except they are still okay, I guess. So yeah, that is an interesting one. We got Abu says, feels like their 18 key support was a test run to see how much of an impact it will change for other units on the player base. We could be seeing more designs like this, but with a higher percentage rate. I mean, this could be true, right? Like, if the 5% thing isn't bugged and it just doesn't have as great an effect as we thought it would, or maybe even they thought it would, maybe we will see another unit get this effect, but with a slightly higher percentage to make up for it. Who knows? YT cases, I think they're a lot better on paper. Again, I don't know, like, they seemed good on paper, and then using them in the event in that showcase, I thought they were pretty good. Rado hasn't tried them out yet. Why are people complaining again? I mean, that's literally what I thought this morning, but everything Future Saga related has been incredibly disappointing. Part 1 is the reason why so many people look down on this celebration. I mean, that seems a bit crazy to me. Like, considering how much I love Rose, I think he's probably one of the best units in the game. Well, he obviously is one of the best units in the game, but I really like Rose. I prefer Rose to Omega in terms of, like, performance. Omega definitely takes it with, like, the leader skill, but I think saying everything Future Saga related has been disappointing is a bit crazy. I mean, that is an opinion, though, so just saying something is disappointing, then that could be true for this person. Saying that everything Future Saga related was, like, bad, I would definitely not say, but a generational talent. They're basically the SGA of Dokkan right now. I don't know if I should know what that means, but I don't. Probably one of the best EZAs they've ever done, and then great unit. So we got a couple of, like I said, it's not everybody has suddenly decided this unit is not good. I don't know if it is the typical thing that we sort of meme about a lot, lately with the community sort of complaining about everything. And the funny thing is, I've had people get mad at me, like, especially even like in streams, where like the people who are mad about something apparently don't like it being pointed out that people are mad about stuff all the time now, which, I mean, I don't know, like people just seem to be mad about everything, regardless of what it is, right? Like we said, building up to the Dokkan campaign, we thought it would be Daima. The people that didn't like Daima were complaining. Then it turned out that part 1 was Future, and then a bunch of people complained that it was Future. A bunch of people complain about GT being part 2 because a lot of people don't like GT, even though a lot of people do like the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. People are just going to complain about everything, but it's not everybody. It doesn't mean that everybody hates like something, right? And then, yeah, this is a clip that is similar to what I was talking about, right? So this is Rose super attacking Vegeta and Trunks, and they take 700k. And then you can see, like, afterwards, they take double-digit damage from the normals. You're still alive, not by, like, a huge amount. And also, you can see this is on a turn where Rose has actually been damaged already. So Rose is already partly, or probably not fully, but partly built up. And they still tank his super in slot 1, like, without dying. Which, yeah, obviously we would much prefer if they tank it for, like, double digits or, like, 100k or something like that. But especially when it comes to Rose, who's getting built up and is one of the hardest hitting bosses in the game right now, even surviving his super attack as a slot 1 unit is pretty good. So it says, I don't think I have to say more, but actually you kind of do, because I can't tell whether you're saying that this is good or bad, because you survived, which is good. Maybe it was more damage than you thought, which is bad, but I don't know. Biggest flaw of this unit is they're restricted to slot 1 and their best linking partner is best in slot 3. Yeah, they're talking about the STR Vegeta, because obviously they link pretty well. He gives the buff to units whose name includes Trunks, but he gets that massive buff by being in slot 3, which obviously you can have the thing where you use his active skill in slot 3 and then put him in slot 2, but that's only for 1 turn, right? So this guy's not their preferred meta, but they can still perform great, really enjoying them. I mean, I agree with that. The 5% support isn't great. I feel like Dokkan was just testing the waters to see if it would be too broken. This, however, does open the floodgates. Dokkan could make a really great character with the mechanic. VT are good, but it's not because of the 5% stack. I think that's the thing. If people are focusing on the 5% not being as good as they thought it was, like, that's fine. But I don't think that in any way makes the unit, like, not good or not as good, because everything else they're doing outside of that 5% buff thing, I think they're still very, very good, and that buff is just like a little bit extra. So Aman says, I don't think they are bad, however their design leads to 2 main issues. If they aren't in slot 1, they're cooked 99% of the time, which I don't agree with. Like I say, I've used them in that Rose and Zamasu event and had them tanking hits in like slot 3. Since they're locked to slot 1, they're prone to get replaced sooner than if they had slot 2 to 3 potential. I mean, that is true. Units that are basically locked to slot 1, as soon as they get to the point where they can't really survive supers in slot 1, they just become unusable. Whereas these guys do at least have the extra defense, they have the guard, like they're doing the build up for everyone else on the team, even if it is just the 5%. Like they're still doing all of that, even if they're not in slot 1. But they're really great. I wouldn't say they're better than the year 7 LR EZAs. Yeah, that's an interesting comparison that I've seen people talking about. Apparently, so I saw someone complaining that people think that Vegeta and Trunks are better than the 7 years. I didn't actually see anyone say that, but in terms of like comparing them, I guess it's hard to compare them because turn 1, the 7 years are probably better in slot 1 because they get that massive damage reduction with the guard. But then turn 2 especially, Vegeta and Trunks will be better because they'll have gotten a couple of attacks in, potentially been hit a couple of times, and of course the year 7s won't have that damage reduction anymore. So I don't know, it's interesting. I'd say they're somewhere between 3 to 5 in the top 10 LRs, or top 10 LR EZAs, or not even just LRs. Would they be a top 5 LR? I feel like the 4 GDC LRs should probably all be in there somewhere. So then maybe these guys probably, I would say they probably are in the top 5, even if they are number 5. I don't know. That's an interesting one to think about. The support is an overhyped mechanic. 5% is too small to be impactful in fights. But it's nice, but it had to be something like 15% because most units get over 100% on super. Adding 5% 3 times doesn't move the needle much. I mean, yeah, I think I can kind of agree with this idea that maybe it was just to test the waters out a little bit. And maybe 5% is too low. But I'm not too sure. Very good EZA, strong defense, good utility is a good combo. Meta is against them, but they still manage to clear all content with ease. Exactly, while providing something each run. Their damage is lacking, especially on the active skill. I'd have liked some more. I mean, I said this in the showcase though, right? I'm not going to be mad at their damage when they are just supposed to be a tank that is providing a little bit of a buff to the rest of the team. Like, they're not there to be a damage dealer, so I think that's fine. I hate them. This is only regarding Festival. They are just Nameku with support. Damage is terrible. Defense is great, but rarely do you die because of damage. That is true. You usually use because of the time, what's it called? The charge counter. Support is nice, but it's still limited because of teams. I don't know. Once a deer, always a deer. Yeah, there's the deer memes. I guess if it was from back when they first were around and they started to get outdated, I'm not sure. People thought they were top 5. In reality, they are 8th, or at least somewhere around there. I mean, I'm not sure who we're putting above. I guess, to be fair, we mentioned the GDC LRs, and then I said about the 7 years, are they really better than them? So I guess if the 7-year LRs are like 5 and 6, maybe, then I don't know. They'd be 7, I'm not sure. Overall, WEZA, they lack more damage than I realised. Quick fixes to make their 18 key greatly stack. Yeah, the greatly stack would have been really good for them for the overall build-up. Very good, nothing more, nothing less. Leader skills amazing for sub-leading a small box. Very good. Decided to give FOB a chance again and finally won because of them, so WEZA. I mean, they will be good in the festival for sure, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting, like, we've got a lot of people here, like I said, a lot of people saying that they are good, saying that they are well designed, maybe not quite as good as they thought. But, like, again, these guys doing a 46 million attack when they're supposed to just be a defensive unit is pretty good. And then, obviously, Vegeta next to them can go pretty crazy as well. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. It seems like a few people have turned on this unit, or not even necessarily turned on them, but the idea of, like, them just not being as good as people maybe thought they were. And in part, that could be to do with the buff not being as great as they thought. Yeah, see here, Vegeta and Trunks suck in short fights, according to some people. And then here's no item runs for, is this just all 4 stages of the GDC event? Yeah, no item runs with double Vegeta and Trunks leads. You guys can't see that unless I change the view. There we go. Yeah, all 4 stages of the GDC special battle, no items with double Vegeta and Trunks. I mean, the idea that they're not good in short events is not the case. But yeah, fantastic no ifs or buts. 200k less damage than AGL Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta from a super before attacking after the build-up turns. So I mean, I guess they can be a potential man unit, I guess, to a certain extent as well. Because I tried them out in the GT, the new Shadow Dragons boss rush thing. And obviously them being the one that gets randomly selected to be sealed massively hurts what they're trying to do as well. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Personally, I think their EZA is really good. I've had no trouble with them in all of the difficult content. I think people maybe are just disappointed, like I said, about the permanent stacking buff maybe not seeming as good as people thought it was going to be. But overall, I think this unit is very, very good and very useful for all of the teams that they're on. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Are you surprised by the current seeming trend of people not liking this unit as much anymore? Are you one of those people, or do you think this unit is great? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master again. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.